a bit of RS3 or something. Actually, no, Dodge Viper. Now you might remember in late 2020 I decided to buy this Swedish masterpiece. It's an ex-police Volvo V70 T5 with the manual gearbox. And a lot of you folks have been asking, where is the car? Have you still got it? Are you actually going to do anything with it? Well, I still do have the thing. It's just been parked in what I call the unfinished project corner, along with a few other things. Now, the only thing with having a car sat for this long is they do tend to fall apart. I did put brand new Michelin Pilot Sport 4s on it back then. But yeah, stuff like the exhaust was starting to rust. And it basically just fell off the other day, or it was hanging off, and I hit it with a crowbar. So yeah, the thing does sound like a straight pipes Dodge Viper now, which is pretty cool, but there still is the issue of it being in limp mode. It's been like this ever since I picked it up, and initially I thought it was a TCV, which we changed out up at DRW Performance along with a set of plugs. But when doing that, we identified the fact that the PCV hose was basically not connected at all, so there's a massive vacuum leak. Now apparently the PCV going bad is a common Volvo thing. The only issue is the access to change it out. It's underneath the intake manifold, so that's the plan for today's video. We're going to try that out and see if it makes a difference. But yeah, first I thought, because it's been a while, I thought I'd scan the car, and for that we're going to use a Carly device. Now incidentally, they are also our sponsor for today's video, so big thanks to them. It's a very handy tool. This fits directly in your pocket, allows you to run codes and multiple other things. Okay, so we've got the jump cables hooked up to the E92. I'm going to put the ignition on now. Now believe me, I know exactly what you're thinking here. You're saying, hold on, what's going on with all the black tape here? Well, this steering wheel got a bit moldy when it was parked over there in the unfinished project area. So I decided to just cover it up once it was clean, because this material is disgusting. I mean, look at the state of that. Right, so it's nice and easy to use this thing. Just plug it straight into the OBD port if you can actually find it. Yeah, some lights are flashing, so we're all good. So next you open up the app. Now you can have multiple vehicles. I've already gone ahead and added the V70. Got various other Golfs and whatnot over there. What we're gonna do next is connect to the device. So yeah, we'll just give that a moment. To be fair, that's not bad. After 50% so far, it's only found 4 issues. With the GTI, that would have been about 20 by now. Show results. Now I'm guessing there will be something related to the so steering angle sensor. Knew about that one. Brake control, again, no idea what that is. Looks like something that you'd associate with the battery. Not too much showing up on here, so it seems like the car just decides when it wants to have issues. It had an engine light the other day, that seems to have gone. But yeah, that's pretty much the code reading function of the Carly app. I've been using it for many years, ever since I got the grey GTI, and it's always come in handy when I've gone to view cars and whatnot, so highly recommend this. Now, as mentioned, you can also do other stuff on the app, like check live data, as you can see here. You can also do coding as well. Not that it's a priority on the V70 here, we've got more pressing matters, but you might remember my Mark 7 GTI video from last year. We enabled like daytime running lights and whatnot. You can also do a used car check as well. But yeah, I'd like to thank Carly again for their continued support of the channel. It's sponsors like this that actually help make a lot of these projects possible. They've also given me my own special link, which is down below in the description. That'll save you 50% off your next order. But yeah, folks, I think it's time to get to work and actually fix some of these issues. Right, so moving on to the actual issue that we're going to be solving on the car today. Essentially what it is the PCV. That line goes brittle, and I've actually managed to get a replacement sort of OEM equivalent part here from these guys, but I bought this thing like a year ago probably now. As usual, don't take this as a strict DIY. The main thing I want to do is just get the car running half decent, but yeah, follow it loosely if you need to. Getting you to undo this engine mount first. Looks in decent nick as well. That's out. The interesting thing with this car, whilst it's quite a big estate, it's actually still laid out like a hatchback, and there's quite a bit of space in the engine bay as well, so yeah, you can see the turbo pretty much right there. Bunch of T30s to remove this cover. We put this little bung on, I remember now, from when we changed the spark plugs out. That was the only temporary measure we had at the time. But that's basically where the PCV hose is supposed to sort of clip onto. It's done somewhat of a job, but there's just mess everywhere here. And most of this kind of cover for the wiring harness has just gone all brittle. All right, dipstick next. It's supposed to be a 10mm. Clearly ain't. Maybe the police force bodged this one. Okay, so now that that piece of plastic is out of the way, we've got the fuel rail here a bit more exposed. This wiring harness has very similar clips actually to my E60, so yeah, remove these little metal prongs, pull up on these connectors, plug 2, 3, 4, 5. Also need to undo this Schrader valve here and bleed off some pressure. Good to be eye protection as well, but I'm covering it up anyway and standing pretty far. 2 bolts. Alright, so time to actually remove the fuel rail now. I did see some videos where they just yanked it out, but after what I've experienced with the E60 M5, I ain't doing that. Oh, there's a little clip here. T15. At least it still has thread. Oh crap. Okay, so there was quite a bit of fuel in the rail, but I managed to pour most of it out. It just comes out through this hole over here. The injectors came out all intact. The O-rings do look a bit mangled and there's a lot of dirt on this, so I'll give it a clean with some brake cleaner shortly. Right, so next apparently there's a 7mm right here for the throttle. Seems to be coming off by hand, this one. That's the throttle body pipe off. Next we can actually start removing the intake manifold bolts. So they're all 10mm. Remove the top ones, but loosen the bottom ones apparently from what I've been told. You don't have to take them out fully. Now for the most part the intake manifold's loose now. We can pull it out. There's a few extra lines on this side, but that's easy enough. Now in terms of some tips for the ones on the very far left, because that's the trickiest part of the job, make sure you just have the correct tools and then it's actually fairly easy. For the lower 10mm, which of course you're not going to fully remove, you just want to sort of loosen it slightly. Make sure to use a 1/4 inch and get this 2-inch extension first, and then obviously you can extend it further. But I tried with a 3/8 and it just wasn't gripping onto the bolt. And for the banjo bolt over here, which I read quite a lot about it being quite difficult to do, just get a flexi head spanner, 17mm, bends like that. Easy enough to do. This Volvo build quality is very impressive though. Nothing's span or broken or bad. Out. That's one freed intake manifold from a T5. Pretty surprised with how clean those intake ports are. Maybe these things don't suffer with the carbon build-up, but look at that, it's all nice and shiny. I am of course going to be replacing the gasket as well, which you can see over here. Now that right there is the culprit. As I showed you earlier, it's kind of like a PCV box. It attaches directly onto the block over there. So we're going to be changing that out, and this is where that line should have been connected. So all the way down here up to the top where that bung is. I do believe you have to change this usually when you change out the PCV box, but the kit that I've got only has the box itself, this line, and a few of the ones connected to the block. So we'll do that today. And then now that I know how to take off this intake manifold a bit easier, I'll change that later on. Now to remove the PCV box, there's usually 2 10mm going into the block, along with obviously a bunch of pipes and clips going into the box itself. I managed to get the right 10mm off, but the left one I couldn't even see it. I tried with a few different sockets and extensions and couldn't quite get a grip onto it. So I decided in the end to just break out a crowbar. I removed a few other bits out the way so I didn't break anything whilst I was doing this. I know it's a bit of a bodge, but it's only plastic and I was going to be replacing it anyway. And yeah, in a matter of seconds I managed to get it out, and you can see there's a bunch of gunk stuck in all the ports, so definitely was due a change. At this point you do want to clear out the ports on the block itself with a pick. You also need to do a quick test as well. Remove the oil cap and blow through the ports with some compressed air or some tubing. I did the latter option. If you can hear the oil in the pan, you're good. But if you're not, you'll need to drop the sump at this point. Luckily for me, I didn't have to do all of this because I could hear something. And yeah, the next part is pretty much just putting it all back together. If you got to this point, you'll know how to do it. It's pretty much just a reverse. The only thing I will say is with the new gasket, make sure to put a cut in the left corner so you can slide it around the lower intake manifold bolt on the far left side. I also took this opportunity to blast a few of the things I removed with some brake clean. Okay, sometime later I've got the intake manifold back on. Did take quite a while, reason being this banjo bolt is actually a lot harder to put back on than it is to take off. I'll just show you on the phone here what I did. So there's this line that goes onto the thermostat, and that's attached to where the banjo bolt line is as well. Take that off and it gives you a bit more sort of negotiation room to get it on. It did leak a bit of coolant, but it's not really a big deal. It was much more of a hassle trying to get it on without removing that. Now pretty much all there is to get these T30s back on, these covers, and then get the charge pipe fitted. Okay, so everything's looking proper again now. I haven't put the strut brace and all of that back on yet. But even though it is near the end of the day today, I do want to turn this thing on. Depending on how well it sounds, we might take it for a drive in this same video. Obviously that will be tomorrow, but yeah, let's give it a go. I still need to jump start it though, even though I put new battery in it. Get this on. Crank the ignition a couple of times. Sounds pretty similar. See that there? No fuel leaks I can see. So we've only got 2 fault codes now. See what it says. Just steering angle sensor and brake control module. Let's clear them all and see what's what. I thought I'd give you guys a little drive in this thing. It has been ages. We're in the little lay-by where I usually start my review videos. The car's warmed up. This is about 20 minutes from my house, so the car's clearly made it here in one piece. We'll see if it performs any different to before. I have got a very clear idea of how it was. because it's been like that ever since I bought it, so that's all I know about it. I have got traction off. See if it can wheel spin, because if it's standard or if it's tuned, it should be able to. Get that clutch kick. Oh, that sounds nuts. It's like a bit of RS3 or something. Actually no, Dodge Viper. It feels a bit different. It feels a bit different. Now I know I've been a bit cheeky and said the thing's falling apart. Yeah, there are little things that are broken. I mean, exhaust, they tend to rust anyway. The car's done 201,000 miles. It probably hasn't been serviced properly in many years, because obviously it has been out of the force for quite a while, and whoever buys it afterwards, they're dirt cheap, so they may have skimped on it. And Volvo parts are very expensive. That's why I bought like a OEM equivalent one. I mean, that PCV kit, I think it's like at least £200-300 if I was to buy it from the dealers. I think that was what I was last quoted. There still is a bit of a hesitation, but it's definitely feeling a lot better than before. Once it's all tidied up, I reckon this car will be spot on. It's just a case of whether I do that, and we'll see how well this video does. I mean, if there's only like 10 of you watching, I might have to prioritize other stuff. But yeah, if there's a good reception to the return of the Volvo, I don't mind dumping some money into it. If not, I'll just use it as a daily or whatever. We've got a bridge approaching here now. I'll put it to first. The guy behind must be thinking, what on earth is coming out the back of that Volvo? It's only doing like 50. I'm not even reaching the speed limit of this road, so I think there's definitely something wrong. But it feels hectic though. Definitely a good thrill for the money it cost me. Come on. If you change over the limiter, you always get a bank. It was fun before, like just, you know, for the nostalgia's sake and driving around a police car, but I think now it actually is heading in the direction of where you'd want to take it for a drive. Yes, you'd want to take this thing for a drive. Yeah, we're back in a local little village. Try and keep the car civil, yeah. Might as well indicate, not driving a BMW today. Bar input's good. Right, this turn might be a bit tricky because the turning circle on this is like a ship. Alright, Vauxhall marker decided to just reverse that anyway. It looks like we cleared it. Oh yeah, I just remembered we've got Michelin PS4s on this. That's why it's handling kind of nice. You know what, this thing definitely would be alright on a track, you know. I'm not even taking the mick. Can you imagine if it's like this standard or police spec? I'm gonna be honest with you, man, I only did about 45 there. The glass on that mirror looks like it's gonna fall off. Yeah, I let it off because it's got 201,000 miles on it. It's driving plenty good for a car with this much abuse throughout its life. It must have had at least a couple of thousand criminals in this. I'd love to see the look on that guy's face. You hear a bang just coming out the back of this. But yeah folks, I think this is a good place to end today's video. I'm gonna try and get this back. I'd say in one piece, but the thing's totally fine. It's a tank. Let me know if you enjoyed the return of the Volvo by dropping a like on the video. Also make sure to subscribe and let me know what else you'd like to see. Try and join this. Yeah. The wiper blade's just disintegrated. I think it's gonna fly off. But yeah, I'll see you in a few days time for the next video. It likely will be the E60 M5 first drive. And then yeah, I'll make a little plan or whatever. But yeah, I'll see you soon.